articles, Making Your Classes Come Alive, claim that people learn best when they feel comfortable with what they are doing. Once comfortable, students will hold conversations with teachers that they like and trust. The first day would basically be a Facebook activity, and I would have a Facebook, the information page where it says your interests, your hobbies, your basic information about yourself, your contact information. I would have that all typed up and pass it out to all my classmates, or to all my students, and that way they know something about myself, they know how to contact me, they know when I'll be after school, when I'll be there before school, different things like that. And plus it's Facebook, and kids are into Facebook right now, so that'll really grab their attention. And then after I have that passed out, I'll pass out a blank one for them to fill out. And after they fill it out, I'd have them get into groups and just, compare and contrast, like, oh, your favorite movie was this, mine's this, your hobbies are this. And then that way, basically, they're discovering more about themselves, they're being introduced to their peers, and then at the end of class, I would collect all of them, because then you have a way to know what your students are into and also be able to contact them if you need to. You'll have their email address, everything you need to know about them, just for a first day. For the second day, I would have another activity for students to get to know each other. I would have two circles, an inner and an outer circle, where they would have a list of questions. It'd be about 10 questions, and they would basically go up to the person in front of them and ask a question and get to know that person a little better. And then they would move to the next person, and they would ask a question. That way it's just like them being able to get to know each other, and by doing so they'd be more comfortable with talking to one another and discussing things for in the future. The third day would be about teamwork, and I would have the word teamwork on a board. They would get into groups, and basically they would have to create their own definition of what teamwork means to them. They would be in their groups working together, and they would be given a piece of construction paper to write down their own creative definition along with synonyms, and we would either hang it up on the walls or bulletin board or something after they presented it to the class. So they would be able to define teamwork and the importance of it while working as a team. And they would enhance speaking skills by presenting this in front of the class. And then by placing it somewhere around the room, I just think that it's just there for a reminder every day of the importance of working as a team. Day 4 would be social interactions, and I would have a mini PowerPoint slide lecture on the different meanings of what it means to interact with each other, the importance of that, how being social can benefit. And then I would have them do another activity where they would have to have a piece of paper, and they would cut it into 4 squares, and they'd write a truth on every square. And they would turn them all into me, and I would pass them out to where someone had someone else's truth. And they would have to go up to students and ask to basically figure out if this was their truth or not. And say one student wrote, I have 3 brothers, they would go up to them and have to think, okay, do you have siblings? Do you have any sisters? And so I just think that this would be another way for them to learn about their peers. They would be partaking in being socially interactive, and they would enhance their creativity skills because they would have to come up with questions and figure out who's who and figure out different things about each other. And then the 5th day, to end the week, I would have them watch Katy Perry's firework video, which I got from my friend Veronica. And basically I would have them watch the video, and I would have them reflect on it. Just get out their journal or something and reflect on the video. And I don't know, for those of you who have seen it, it's a great video. But basically then I would go over the importance of it and how basically accepting individuals for who they are is very important, and that every individual is different and unique and has something to offer. And then basically by incorporating this idea of acceptance and belonging in a classroom, students will understand that it's important to have teamwork and to work together, and how doing so can enhance accomplishing goals. So that's how I would basically wrap up the first week.
So then the 6th day we would do a think, pair, share activity, but it would be a little longer than just a quick wrap up. And the students would first think silently to what they think cooperative learning is, since they wouldn't have introduced it yet, and why they think that it would be important, and just give their definition of it. And then they would get with a partner and discuss both their ideas. And then after a few minutes of doing that, the students would return to their seats, and as a class they would discuss everyone's own definition of cooperative learning. And the point of the activity, it gets students to use the different types of cooperative learning, the individual, the partner, and then the group. And good opportunity for students to learn from each other, and it gets students more comfortable and involved with each other, and it allows for more of a safe environment. And day 7, we would talk about the cooperative learning techniques, and I would show a YouTube video on cooperative learning in a classroom. It's like a 7-minute video, and it just shows students interacting with each other and doing different types of learning. And then I would show the PowerPoint on the different types of cooperative learning methods. And then we would do a 1, 2, 3 activity, and that's to wrap it up. And they would list 3 things that they learned, and 2 things that they had questions on, and 1 thing that they would want the instructor to know about anything that they want to tell them. And the point was to know the different types of learning, and that some rely on other people to create better understanding of concepts. So that's the importance of being with other people when discussing concepts, and practicing different types of learning methods is important, and it creates a safe and comfortable environment with the students interacting and being comfortable with each other. Day 8, it'll be listening, and I would show a slideshow of 3 pictures, and the students would write down what they see in the picture. And then after we went through all the slides, we would go back to the first slide, and we would ask the illusion of the wine glass and the 2 old people. They would, maybe one person only sees the wine glass, but then the other students see the old people, and it would show that you need to look at things from other people's perspectives. And then we would get into groups, and students would pick a controversial topic for each group, and then they would write on the back of the note card their opinion of it, and then they would switch with someone in their group and read their opinion and comment back on it, but of course being respectful of others' opinions. And it just gets to show that not everyone has the same opinion and has different perspectives, especially from cultural differences and how they grew up. And it'll just give the students a chance to really realize that and look at things from other people's perspectives. And it identifies barriers and how to enhance good communications, and it gets students to look at perspectives from other students. And then active listening is important in the classroom, because students always want to know that they're being heard and they aren't just talking just to talk. So the focusing activity would be Simon Says, and the teacher would do it, and of course we all know how to play it, and so the students who were active listening were going to succeed further in the game. And then we would do a talking and listening activity, and the students would take turns telling a story and being the speaker and the listener, and then the speaker would ask the listener questions, and then they would trade. And then in their daily journal they would reflect how it made them feel if the other student didn't know what they said, or how it made them feel if they did know what they said, because that meant that they were either really listening or they weren't. And then I would show a PowerPoint on active listening, and the point of the activity is to improve current relationships and to show that it is important for all students to be listening to each other, and it encourages students to speak up in the classroom, knowing that they're in a safe environment and they can trust in their roommates. And then the last, classmates. And then the last activity is the trust walk. To start it off, I would have a bag of candy, and I would let them all pick it out, and then I would ask them to give it back to me, and they would have to trust that I would. in the end, and they would have to write about how they felt. And then they would do the trust walk, and they would just take turns leading them out, giving them directions, and they would have to listen, and then they would go back and reflect on that in their daily journal. And then trust is something that every classroom needs to build classroom relationship, and it creates a bond with your class, and it will create a more comfortable environment. And it is really important for students during middle school to have people to go to they can trust and rely on.